All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next in the summer comedy series finale here at the Underground Collaborative in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, my good buddy, my good friend, Mr. Brian Russell.
Thanks everybody for coming out to the Underground Collaborative for the finale of the summer comedy series. Tomorrow night is our big one. Come on back for headliner Matt McClowry with his feature Brad Wenzel. It's great to be in Milwaukee, Brewtown, home of the alcoholic. At least we've got sports, right? We've got the Brewers and the Bucks, both in the same city. I hear in a couple of years we might get a pro team. Our last show was in Plainfield, Wisconsin. Ed Gein's from there. It's a little creepy. Only place in Wisconsin you can buy lampshades with tattoos on them. Before they named it Plainfield, they were going to call it Hometown Buffet, but it was already taken. Oh, God. When I was growing up, I wrote all my jokes in this little silver notebook. Hundreds of thousands of jokes, everything. 1,000 pages, front to back. One day somebody stole it. My whole life's work, everything I'd ever written. It's a little depressing, but in the end, I think I won because now there's a comedian out there telling these awful jokes. And it's all my fault. Yesterday, me and Justin, we were in Madison for the Zella Day concert. And while we were there, we stopped at Madison Improv Comedy Club. We were going to inquire about possibly performing there one day. And the guy comes up and he says, "We're in the middle of a show, can you come back at 9?" But we were just visiting town, so we told him we couldn't. So he said, "Well, and I tell you right off, we're not a comedy club." Just threw us a loop because it says Improv Comedy Club on the sign. But he said, "Regardless, here's my card. Give me a call. We'll figure something out." So I'm not sure if I just got asked out on a date or... Years ago when I was with my ex-wife, let's just say she was a bit of a prude. Missionary style was very common in our relationship. It took a lot to coax her into doing anything, even on the edge of freaky. But there's always a way. We went to Walmart and I bought her a couple thongs. I know, real classy, right? And she wore one, and then she made me this deal. She said, "I'll tell you what, we'll do it your way, but you got to wear this thong for 2 hours." Fuck it. So I wore this thong, and I'll tell you what, I didn't want any of my friends busting me out, so we drove around in my car for 2 hours until this was done. When it was finished, took care of business. I tossed it in the backseat of my car and never gave it a second thought. I was 17 at the time, so the backseat of my car was actually a dumpster, but months down the road, I was riding around in my car with my best friend, Chad, and he's digging around in the garbage in the backseat. By this time, I've long since forgotten there's a thong in the back. And after a few minutes of digging, he pulls this out, and I immediately notice it, and immediately I'm dying inside. I can't say anything. I can't tell my best friend I wore a thong. An all-girls thong at that, lacy. It was pink. Fuck you for judging me. So he's playing with it, and I'm not going to say anything. There's no way I'm ever going to say anything. And he's rubbing it, and I see his peripherals look my way, but he's not turning his head. He's making sure I'm not watching. I'm watching. He plays with it for a few minutes, and all of a sudden I see him getting closer to it. And at this point, I'm just on the edge of just bursting out. I can't help it. It's so close, and I know he's about to fuck up, and it's gonna be epic. And after a few minutes of eyeing me up and getting closer to his nose, he eventually gives up and sets it down. All is good. About a mile down the road, he says, "Fuck it." "Oh man, I fucking wore that." He's like, "Why the fuck were you wearing a thong?" I was like, "Why the fuck are you sniffing my wife's thong?" I'm long since divorced from her. That's not the reason. I'm now married again to this woman's lovely daughter. After she gave birth to my youngest daughter, a couple weeks actually after, I made the mistake of telling her she was getting a little fat. She did not take that well. I mean, she freaked the fuck out. she was yelling all this crap about hormones and blah blah this. I don't know. I wasn't fucking listening. I mean, like, seriously, she really freaked out. Imagine if I had told her pussy got loose too. Since then, I've had to find ways to spice up my own sex life. For example, a few months ago, I tried watching cartoon porn. You ever watch that shit? It took me 45 minutes to masturbate. What a waste of 43 and a half minutes. I've recently tried to make some changes in my life for the better. For example, I started going to church on Sundays. That's interesting. I've noticed one thing about church is more often than not, you see a couple containing a very large, overweight wife and a very tall, skinny husband. Where in the Bible does it say to starve our husbands? Seriously, bitch, you're not getting my rib. Speaking of church, I checked out ChristianMingle.com. You ever check that out? It's a little weird, but I thought I'd check it out. I started a profile, put Tim Tebow as my profile picture, made my headline, Jesus bitch. I see my in-laws are here. I see you, watching you, listening, judging me, wondering why your daughter is with this guy.
It's all good.
I mean, he's in a tie-dye shirt. He's clearly got his shit together. My best friend, he calls me a lot, but he only calls me if he's just finished smoking some weed. It seems to be the only time he can work his telephone. But he's always got something interesting to talk about. It's not very long, just a minute or two when he hangs up, but he's always got something interesting. For example, one time he called me and he says, Jim, you know, I'm thinking that when you jerk off in the shower, it just isn't right when you call it drowning your children. And I'm like, where are you going with this? He's like, I don't know, but I think just so I feel better about the situation, I'm just going to call it thinning the herd. Considering his amount of marijuana he smokes on a regular basis, he asked me to be his best man in this wedding. I'm very, very bad at speeches, especially when it comes to Matt, because, as I said, his life is generally based on marijuana. So when I gave my best man speech, my opening line was, I know a lot about Matt, there's a lot of stories I could tell, but unfortunately I cannot tell them here. And only because all of our stories started out this one time when we were high. I always wondered why men with beards, when they're asked difficult questions, grab their beard. Does it help you think? Does it help you process the answer? Like, is there some infinite knowledge built up in this beard that I don't know about? For 30 years I wondered this, and then I decided I'd grow a beard and find out for myself. So I grew a beard, and I got my first opportunity to test it out about 3 days ago. I was sitting home with my daughter, and I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox, and my wife walked in after a 12-hour shift of work, and she walks in, and her first words are, "You've got all this time for video games, but you don't have time to do the dishes?" And I went, damn, my beard feels great. I'm sorry, what was the question?
I know that's true.
I was playing basketball with my little brother one time, and he just turned 18, and he says to me, you know that feeling you get when you gotta pee really, really bad, but you're already in bed, so you just say, fuck it, and then in the morning you wake up and you gotta run to the bathroom so you don't piss your pants? I was like, yeah, I know that. He's like, doesn't that suck? I was like, it's worse when you're my age. He's like, why? I was like, because then it's shit. So how about Jared from Subway? You guys heard about that, right? Being investigated for child pornography? That's pretty fucked up, huh? The guy from Subway. Man, like, just when you think it's safe to eat Subway, you're halfway through a pepperoni Subway, BAM! Turn into a Catholic priest. So recent reports show that the nationally known gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, have joined forces to help clean up bigger cities, Baltimore. It's about time they did something white. Did you know you can save up to 5 gallons of water by shutting it off in between brushing your teeth? Did you know you could save all the water if you just don't brush your teeth? My entire life I thought I was Polish. Turns out I'm just retarded. I when you're out with a friend and you're riding around in his car on his time, doing his things, and you stop at the gas station and he goes in and doesn't ask if you want anything. He comes out and he brings you a terrible candy bar, like an Almond Joy. Really? A fucking Almond Joy? What in God's green earth makes you think that I want a fucking Almond Joy?
Sometimes you feel
Nobody
like
fucking likes an Almond Joy.
No.
Like seriously, it's ridiculous. Nobody likes a fucking Almond Joy. And he's like, dude, it was free, deal with it. Like, deal with it? If they were getting about free beheadings, would you deal with it? Like, take me home. Give me a fucking Twix and take me home. We are not friends. Right before I came here, we stopped at the gas station down the road and I picked up some smokes. And as I was about to give the guy the money, he says, it's $7.25. It's like, $7.25? I only brought $7.15. He's like, don't worry, man. I got you. He grabs that donations can for the blind kids. He starts dumping it in his hand. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. That's for the blind kids, man. He's like, don't worry, dude. Don't worry, man. They're never going to see it anyway. Thank you all very much. I'm Brian Russell.